I am your host, Krishna Opfer Varela. Tonight's show will be the power of the COVID vaccination in our community. And I have a pleasure to have here the resident pediatrics physician at Boston Medical Center and Boston Children's Hospital, Dr. Sabrina Karim, Dr. Karina Javalkar, and Dr. Neel. Hello, thank you so much for being here.
Krishna, thank you so much for having us. Hi, everyone. We are so excited to talk about the COVID-19 vaccine today. We think that this is a tool that will be so tremendously powerful in our community. We understand that the world has seen so much in the past year, that everyone has felt the effects of the COVID-19 and now probably have a lot of questions around the vaccination. And so we want to talk about it today, answer questions that have been in your community, and hopefully give you more information to help you come to a decision for you and for your families.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I know how busy you all are to try to make the time to fit for this great show and to us to reach our community that right now really needs our answers in all the doubts that they have. So we have heard several concerns, questions, myths that I would love to hear from maybe one of you, your insights about a lot of people has been saying, oh, the COVID vaccine was developed so quick. What is your comment about that? So how can we help people understand about the time frame about this COVID vaccine development?
Yeah, we've heard a lot of concerns about that, but the reasons that we've been able to sort of get this vaccine so quickly is there's a lot of reasons. One is the research on coronaviruses in general were already sort of underway. So even though this was a new coronavirus, we already had sort of information about coronavirus, so that research was already underway. Another thing is that because COVID-19 has been sort of impacted globally, everybody, many governments sort of gave money to provide funding. So sometimes it's challenging to get funding for vaccine development, but because this was, such a global challenge, many groups pitched in to sort of provide the resources. Another reason that we were able to do this so quickly is that lots of people, because of the impact COVID-19 was having in their communities, volunteered to participate in the clinical trials. And sometimes it's challenging to get people to participate. So it takes some time to accrue the number of participants you need in the trial. But because we were able to fill the trials quickly with people who were volunteering to be part of the trials, that was not delayed. And then the final thing is that they were able to basically combine the trials and the manufacturing of the vaccines at the same time. So usually you have to do the trials and then get the manufacturing, but because of the sort of funding that they had, they were able to do these at the same time, so that as soon as they had the trial data that showed that these were safe and effective vaccines, they were ready to go, put the vaccines on trucks and get out the door. But I think people get concerned that there were shortcuts that may have been made in the safety and the development of these vaccines because of the shortened timeline. But there were just numerous reasons that we were able to speed the forward sort of the process of getting to finished product without any cutting corners in the safety or anything that we usually, that all routines have to go through sort of safety and efficacy studies. And there were absolutely no corners cut. There were just sort of benefits of everybody, all hands on deck, that allowed us to produce this vaccine more quickly than other vaccines have been in the past.
Yes, but was made it safely. Mm-hmm. Wasn't that quick? People was intent to understand. Was the way how all the process was. And a lot of people also has been thinking, like, if I take that COVID vaccine, I'll get the COVID. So can you please explain to the people how this doesn't work on that way?
Yeah, that's another great question. So a lot of people have expressed that concern. And I think that some of that stems from the fact that this, the type that people have heard that, this is an mRNA vaccine, that this is a new vaccine, and that made people nervous. But the way that I'd like to, so first of all, I just want to say there's absolutely no way to get COVID-19 from the COVID vaccine. And the way that I like to explain this is, let's say that it takes a full recipe to make a vaccine, and a 100-page recipe for a virus to be made. Let's say you need a 100-page recipe to make a virus. This vaccine is the equivalent of 1 page out of that recipe. So it just teaches your body how to make one small component that it can then recognize to sort of build up your fighting cells, your immune system against it. But without the other 99 pages of the recipe, there's no way for the virus to be made. And it only gives you 1 page of the recipe. That's the sort of mRNA that's delivered, but you're missing the whole rest. So there's absolutely no way for the virus to be made in your body, because you just the information delivered in the vaccine is nowhere near what the information that a virus would need to know to make itself.
Okay, thank you so much for all this explanation. So, doctor, also a lot of people has been asking, so if I take this COVID vaccine, I'll be able to become pregnant? So it's cause any infertility? So there is a lot of myth towards the pregnancy topics. Can you help us understand that myth?
Yeah. This has been a really common question that we've heard, and it's true. Scientists are still studying the safety of the vaccine in pregnant women. The initial trials didn't include pregnant women, but multiple women in the trials actually became pregnant while they were in the trial after they had gotten the vaccine, or found out they were pregnant after they had gotten the vaccine. And since the vaccines have been released, thousands of pregnant women have chosen to receive the vaccine with no major concerns that have been seen so far. And in fact, the kind of leading body in the called the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, they recommend that pregnant women have a conversation with their doctor to make a decision about, make the best decision for themselves. We know that women who are pregnant do get sick with COVID and have an increased risk of severe illness. And so, it's really worth having that conversation with your doctor. The question about infertility, I think, is also another one that has come up, that people are concerned that it might cause infertility or miscarriage. And there's currently no evidence that the COVID vaccine can cause infertility and miscarriage. And in fact, according to the CDC, there's actually no approved vaccine, even for any other disease, that's known to cause this. And so, like all vaccines, scientists are still studying other side effects and things like that. But as of now, we really don't have any evidence that the vaccine can cause infertility or miscarriage.
Okay, thank you. And for kids, are the COVID vaccine are safe for kids?
That's also a really great question, and is a hot topic right now, and especially for us as pediatricians thinking about how to get our patients, safe as they start going to school and spending time with their friends and family. There's one vaccine right now that's approved for some kids. So the Pfizer vaccine is approved for kids ages 16 and older. But there are multiple trials underway for all 3 of the approved vaccines, looking at their safety in younger children. I think more recently, Pfizer, there have been some news articles recently discussing the Pfizer trial for ages 12 to 15, and that might be submitted for approval soon. And so I think we're going to start seeing the vaccine hopefully approved for younger children to protect them and to be able to protect those around them.
Okay, so are safe to us to invite people to volunteer their kids for also to do a part of this trial, just like a lot of adults did for the first trial for our COVID vaccine?
Yeah, so far, the trials haven't shown any major concerns with the children that have been in the trials, but certainly that'll be up to the FDA to evaluate that data more rigorously, as they do for all vaccines. And what I can tell you is that the vaccine won't be approved unless it really is shown to be safe for those age groups. And so I think we can, if it does get approved, we can feel confident that it'll be safe for kids to get it.
Okay, thank you. So we need volunteers. So please bring your kids so they can do a part of this trial. So it would be great. So, Dr. Sabrina, I would also would love to hear from you. Do the vaccine? It's safe for Black people, Latinx, of people with underlying conditions. There is a lot of questions about that.
Yeah, of course. So there are these questions that are coming to people's minds, and it's totally reasonable to have them again. So we want to emphasize that these trials have covered a large swath of people in terms of Black individuals. Approximately 1 in 10 of individuals in the Pfizer and the Moderna trials were Black, and in the Hispanic or Latinx population, between 1 in 4 and 1 in 5 were of Latinx. So they were deemed to be safe for them, as well as effective across all races and ethnicities. In terms of other specialized populations, we do think about patients who do have immunocompromise at baseline. So, for example, patients who have HIV or patients who may have autoimmune conditions. And this vaccine is not a live vaccine, so it is safe for people who have these underlying conditions. For those who may have a personal history of blood clot or a family history of blood clot, you may want to talk to your doctors beforehand, but we do also feel like these vaccines are safe. Finally, we think about people who have had history of serious allergic reactions. So anaphylaxis is a term you may have heard. And these are individuals who we would want for them to speak one-on-one with their doctors to see if the vaccine is appropriate for them. So everybody is different, and everybody will react to the vaccine in different ways. But by and large, we feel like they are safe for everybody, and they are effective.
Thank you so much for sharing. Can you also let us know what is the most common side effects that someone might feel after receiving that COVID vaccine, so people don't feel scared? So I'm feeling this, so I'm getting the COVID. No, it's a common side effects.
Of course. So I'll start by saying that serious side effects are very rare, but that most people will have some mild side effects. Particularly after a second dose of a 2-dose vaccine. So some of these side effects might include fevers, chills, nausea, headaches, fatigue. And these are actually signs that your body is working to create protection based on that vaccine. So Dana had spoken about the COVID vaccine being 1 page of this 99-page recipe. So with that information, your body is learning about what the vaccine looks like and is creating that protection. And that's why it's reacting in this mild way. It is safe to take ibuprofen or Tylenol as you experience some of these symptoms.
Okay. So another common question was after the pause of the JJ. So a lot of people was concerned that it's safe now that we allow to take in the JJ again, because it was paused for April 13th to 23rd. So then it's safe to us to take that vaccine back?
Yeah, so that's a really good question, and something that was on all of our minds. Again, these vaccines have undergone so much research, but there was this serious and rare complication of the J&J vaccine where about 6 individuals did have or did develop blood clots. And so it was put on pause for about 2 weeks, but most recently on April 23rd, the FDA and CDC did recommend restarting of providing it to individuals. I will say that if, again, you have a personal history of blood clot or a family history of blood clot, you would be somebody who might want to talk to their doctor beforehand. But this side effect was so rare. It was, I think, 1 in less than a million that had it. And so from the research, we feel like most people are safe to get it.
Okay.
And I'll just add, I think it shows that even if there's a rare complication or something that we're hearing about, or the FDA is hearing about, it just shows how seriously we're taking the safety and really rigorously evaluating these vaccines. And so I think it just can even make us feel safer, that even in these rare instances, there's a thorough review for safety, and that's going to be ongoing.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing. So Dr. Sabrina, Dr. Karina, and Dr. Dana, we're going to take a small break to the viewers as well, so we can watch a little video about other doctors also sharing their insights about the COVID vaccine. So we'll be right back. You are watching Krishna International Magazine Show, and tonight's show is the power of a COVID vaccination in our community.
Hi. This is Dr. Sabrina Asumu. I am an infectious disease physician at Boston Medical Center.
Hi, this is Dr. Marcela Carmen, gynecologic oncologist at the Massachusetts General Hospital.
Hi, this is Dr. Sherry Blauett. I'm a physician at Spalding Rehabilitation Hospital and the Brigham and Women's Hospital, and I also serve as Director of Disability Access and Awareness for Spalding.
I am here to talk to you about the COVID-19 vaccine. The vaccine can protect you, your family, and our community, and it will help us end the pandemic.
As the vaccine is distributed here in Massachusetts, you may have questions. The COVID-19 vaccine is safe. It went through rigorous testing and followed the safety measures that are used for all vaccines.
Tens of thousands of people participated in the vaccine trials to prove it's safe, and most people only reported mild side effects.
As a doctor, I know the vaccine is safe. That is why I got the shot, to protect myself, my family, and my patients. When it is your turn, trust the facts and get the shot.
Trust the facts and get the shot.
Trust the facts and get the shot.
If you have questions about the safety of the vaccine, or if you want to learn more about when you can get a shot, visit mass.gov/COVID vaccine.
Hello everyone, you are watching Krishna International Magazine Show. Tonight's show is the power of COVID vaccination in our community. And I have a pleasure to have here the 3 pediatrics residents of Boston Medical Center and Boston Children's Hospital, Dr. Sabrina Karim, Dr. Karina Javalkar, and Dr. Dana Neel. Thank you so much for providing this amazing video that we just watched, to giving the people more confidence of taking the COVID vaccine. I also took my COVID vaccine. All these doctors here already took your vaccine. So when is your time? Also, please take yours. Right? So doctors, I would like to hear from you, one of you. So I know that New England has been doing amazing with our COVID vaccine rate. So we have from 55 to 60% in New England a rate of our COVID vaccination. So what is the importance of us to get those percentage close to 80% or up to 80%? Can you please describe for our viewers the concept of the herd immunity?
Sure, that's a great question. So the way I like to think about this best is a virus requires a host in order to change itself, in order to replicate itself and spread from person to person. It has to be in a person. A virus can't, really exist by itself in the absence of a person. And so the importance of sort of getting up to this level of herd immunity means that the vast majority of people who surround you will also be vaccinated. So even if there is one person who can't be vaccinated for a reason of their age or some other condition that prevents them from being able to get vaccinated, there's no opportunity for the virus to spread or to mutate, because every person that an unvaccinated person comes in contact with will be vaccinated and protected from the virus transferring from the person who is infected to another person. And that is really important, because if a virus is going to change, to mutate in any way, it needs to be inside a person. And so it's really important where we get up to a level where the risk of 2 people coming into contact with each other and both of them being unvaccinated and the virus then being able to spread from one person to another, we want to prevent that from happening. And if we reach herd immunity, that's a level at which it would be very unlikely for an infected person to come into contact with an uninfected person and an unvaccinated person. And that's really sort of what our aim is for herd immunity. So we really would like to get up closer to 80%. That would really be ideal. And that would help the virus from, being able to continue to spread in our communities.
Wow, it's so important. It's amazing how if we always protect each other, take our vaccine, we protect each other. Mm-hmm. So there is a lot of other countries that is not doing that well as us right now. So like India. So that's why, and there is a lot of different variants. That's why it's so important to us to get closer to up to 80%. And I know in the beginning, we were having more people having the COVID vaccine than now. You can see now the chart, and we have more declining, because a lot of people has been declining to take the vaccine, and a lot of people has been like hesitate. That's why we created this TV show to try to help you at home, to try to find more information, more things. So because we are all on this together, so we all depend of you, so we all can be protected. So can you please try to help us understand the myth of a lot of people that thinking that that COVID vaccine might change our DNA, or they will find out everything about ourselves? Can you please try to explain that as well?
So there are no microchips in the COVID-19 vaccine. It will not change your DNA. As again, we spoke about, it's a part of a recipe book, and it's just some information so that your body can learn what the vaccine, or what the virus rather, looks like. But there will be no changes made to your DNA, and we are learning this and confirming this through these rigorous trials. And I will say, we are getting closer to that herd immunity. We still have a lot of work to do, but almost 148 million people in the US have received their first dose of vaccine. So I think this shows the confidence that people have. It is safe, it is effective, it is saving lives, and it will save lives to come.
Okay, so
yeah, something I'd like to add, Jess, is that you might have heard that the reason that people are concerned about these vaccines changing your DNA is because it's an mRNA vaccine, and this is a new type of vaccine. But you also might have heard that these mRNA vaccines, Pfizer and Moderna, they require cold temperatures in order to be stable. And the reason is because mRNA is inherently something that gets degraded very quickly, which means it basically goes away. So there's absolutely no way for it to change your DNA. It basically enters your body and very quickly goes away. So you can think of it, you get that piece of paper, the one-page instruction of how to make the protein that will ramp up your immune system, and then it gets shredded. And so that's basically, it's there very transiently. It teaches your immune system how to fight off the virus, how to build those soldier cells, and then it just shreds it and it's gone. So there's just been some concerns because of the sort of the newness of the type of vaccine, but we know that it basically, there's no way for it to change your DNA. It's very safe in that manner as well.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing. So don't be scared about it. So you are free to take that COVID vaccine with a lot of confidence, like we all were confident on taking it. So I also was thinking about people was often think, so whatever you can share, what more that you also has been listening for your patient? I can ask that. What your patient has been concerned about?
I think what all the questions that we've raised have been sort of what I've been hearing, and people, especially at the beginning, they said, I'm going to wait until more people got it. But at this point, 50% of Americans have gotten it. 60% of adults in Massachusetts have gotten it. So I think that any concerns that people might have had earlier on, hopefully your friends might have gotten it, someone in your family might have gotten it, your neighbor might have gotten it. And I just would encourage you to sort of like ask the people in your community how their experience was. Talk to your doctor, but also talk to other people you trust in your community, because a lot of people have gotten it now. So you might feel more comfortable.
Oh, doctor, thank you so much for sharing this. I was also about to ask if you think that in the early future, we might need to take the COVID vaccine again. People also has been asking if the inspiration for when we take the second dose, if it's safe for us to take another dose next year or early.
Do you want me to talk about that, guys?
Sure.
Okay. I think that it is possible. I think a lot of us are thinking that it is possible that COVID will become something more akin to the flu vaccine. So every year the flu vaccine changes a little bit depending on what the circulating strain of the flu is. And I think that we are thinking, just because of how widespread COVID is at this time, that it is likely that COVID is here to stay. It's hard, none of us can look into our crystal balls. I think that's why we're sort of hoping that we could get to herd immunity that would give the virus less opportunity to mutate and become so widespread that it would be challenging to sort of wipe out altogether. But I think a lot of us sort of in medicine, in the scientific community, think that it is more likely that there will be small changes in the COVID vaccine, and we might need boosters, depending on what the circulating strain might be. And also, we're still learning about how long lasting, even if the virus doesn't change, we're still learning how long lasting our immunity might be. So, the first people to get vaccinated in the trial only got vaccinated around July of last year. So it hasn't even been a year yet. So we basically know that immunity lasts as long as, there hasn't been any waning immunity that we've noted from the clinical trials yet. But obviously these study participants are continued to be followed, and we'll sort of see if the immune cells sort of go dormant over time and they need to be boosted again with an additional vaccine. That would be safe, but the question is sort of whether we need that, how often we need that, and those things remain to be figured out, and people are actively working on that.
And if someone just take today the second dose of COVID vaccine, how safe is for that person to travel? So they need like 1-2 weeks before they start planning some trips. What do you recommend?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think that's one of the exciting things, obviously one of the big benefits of the COVID vaccine is, of course, that it's shown to be very, very effective in preventing people from getting very sick from COVID or being hospitalized, but also allows a little more, going back to normal and going back to kind of how things were before the pandemic and visiting other vaccinated people and so forth. So the CDC does recommend 2 weeks after receiving the second dose of the series, if they're doing a 2 dose series, and after those 2 weeks, there is a little bit, a little bit more that a vaccinated person can do, such as visiting with another fully vaccinated person. Some states have eased certain travel restrictions for vaccinated individuals too, and that does depend on the state. But you can certainly, viewers can go to the CDC website and look up what they'd be able to do after being fully vaccinated. But in terms of the time course, it's just about 2 weeks.
2 weeks. So 2 weeks you'll be able to travel and visit your family. So thank you so much, Dr. Karina, Dr. Sabrina, and Dr. Dana, for having this time, for sharing these amazing insights for our viewers. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, BNN TV director Ashley, that helped us do this amazing show. Thank you all the viewers for watching Krishna International Magazine show. Tonight's show was special for you, was the power of COVID vaccination in our community. Please take your COVID vaccine and be able to go back to our normal. Thank you so much for watching Krishna International Magazine show.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.